Hello, everyone. How are you? Hope you're having an incredible day, and may peace be upon you. Welcome to the show. It takes courage with me, your host, Dr. Izdihar Jamil. And today, I'm going to be sharing with you the three surefire ways broken promises is either going to make or break your business or your life. So it was in, I think, around 2011 to 2012. So my eldest son, Abrar, he was about 11, 12 months old. And he had this big, like, lump behind his neck for days that it keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger to the point that he was in pain. He couldn't sleep. So I took him to the ER. So the doctor was checking him, and then the doctor suddenly like looks at me and says, "Ma'am, take your baby upstairs. He needs an emergency operation." And I was like, "What? Like, how does like a big lump behind his neck goes to an emergency?" I was like, "What?" So I pick up a bra, I carry it on my hip, I walk through the ER to get to elevator to go upstairs to the operation room, and I was passing by, the nurses and the doctors with the green, red, and blue scrubs running around taking care of patients. And I remember like a bra on my hip, I pick up the phone, I called Rizal, my husband, and I said, "Babe, come to the hospital now. Abra needs an emergency operation." And Riza was like, "I'm wrapping up my work. I'm coming now." Put down the phone. And then I called my coach, Jenny. "Jenny, I can't go to London this weekend for that leadership training because Abra has an emergency operation." And Jenny was like, "Oh my God. Take care of Abra. We'll figure everything out later." Put down the phone. And then I pick up my phone and I call Professor Sri, who's my PhD advisor. "Sri, I can't go to Finland for the research. Abra has an emergency operation." And Sri was like, "Oh," put down the phone. So I walked to the elevator, go upstairs to, I think it was fifth floor, sixth floor, went to the ER room, put down a bra on the gurney, took off his clothes and everything, and then the anesthesiologist was there. So I looked at him and said, "Take care of my baby." And then he said, "We will." And by then, the anesthetician was having his, his cap, his mask, his scrub. So he put on the needle onto Bra's hands, and then, he started to count 10, 9, 8, 7. By the time he get to 4, Abra was completely out under full general anesthesiology. And I saw him like wheeling Abra out to go into the operation room. And then they closed the door. And then my heart was like, I don't know if I'm going to see my baby again. So I walked out of the operation room. I met with Rizal, and then Rizal took me out from the hospital, and around the hospital there were some shops. So we went to the shop, and I remember that we were at this crystal shop buying crystals. Of all the things that we bought crystals. And then the lady, as we were paying, the lady at the counter, hey, how are you? What are you doing here? And I was like, my baby has an operation. He was like, okay, so you're distracting yourself. And I was like, yes, I am. And then we got a call. The hospital says, ma'am, come to the hospital now. A bra is out. And then we quickly, paid and rushed to the hospital, walk up the elevator, went up the elevator, go into the room. And then as I go, went into the room, I saw that there was this nurse, this male nurse, who was sitting in front of the computer. And on his lap, there was this baby on the lap. They were watching something in front of the computer, and I could hear the baby was laughing. And then I looked around, there was no one there. So I went to the nurse. And as I got closer, I saw that it was a bra because his head was covered by the monitor. I saw that it was a bra. And he was laughing while he was watching Peppa Pig. I was like, okay, came up, I gave him a good sign, a good hug, and the nurse was like, it went really well, take him back to his room. So I took him back to his room and was waiting for the pediatrician to come and check him out and released it. So the pediatrician comes, and he's like, okay, he's good to go. By then, Abra had this big bandage behind his neck from the operation. So they basically took the pus out from the lump. Somehow he got a huge infection that causes it to swell like a slightly bigger than a golf ball. So they had to drain the pus for it. So he was left with a big bandage. So I was like, okay, yeah. And the doctor was like, make sure you change the bandage. And I was like, can a bra get on a flight? I need to go to Finland because I have to do my PhD research. This is like a crucial one for me, like a crucial part of my PhD. And the doctor looks at me and was like, yes, he can. Just make sure that he changed the bandages. I was like, okay. So I went to Sri, right? So because I missed the previous flight, which Sri paid for. So I'm like, how am I gonna get to Finland now? Like who's gonna pay for my tickets? I don't know if Sri is gonna pay for it. But I just went to him. I was like, Sri, Abra is out of the operation. He's recovering. He's doing really well. I'm going to Finland. Can you pay for my tickets? And she was like, remember he was looking at me and he looked at his phone and he was like, yeah, I'll pay for it. I was like, great. And I booked my tickets to Finland. So Sri paid for my tickets and I paid for Abrar and Rizal's tickets because, he just had come up to the hospital. He's still nursing. And so we went to Finland and we arrived at Finland. It was snowing, it was snowing. It was so cool. It was 4 feet snow, but we had the best time. And the thing about Finland is, yes, I've communicated to the people in Finland, like, look, this is what's happening. I probably wouldn't be able to make it. But it was something that we've arranged months ago, and people there were counting on me. Like, it is my research, they were counting on me to lead, to do it. And even though we're collaborating, but, it's still my baby, right? So, and I was so glad that I went there. Not only we had a great time, but it's the sense of completion of actually doing the research and getting the data that I needed for my PhD. And then I came back to England, and then I called Jenny. Hey Jenny, I'm back. For the leadership course, the one in London that I missed, it was part of a compulsory training for me to complete the whole course. And I was like, Jenny, because Abra had an emergency operation, can you guys give me an exception and pass me on the course that I didn't attend because of my extenuating circumstances. It was, I wasn't planning on any of it. So, and Jenny was like, sure, I mean, they may give you an exception, just, you need to check with Austin. And Austin was the head coach for my cohort. So I gave Austin a call. Obviously, he knows what happened, but hey, Austin, Abra's doing really well. Thank you for all your kind wishes. Because I missed London because of the emergency operation. Can can you guys give me an exception and pass me for the course? I was already like 4, 5 months in, almost 6 months into the course. I was just, almost at the end. And I just need that one more module to complete the whole training. And then Austin was like, that is the one in London is a compulsory module. So no, you have to complete it. And the next one is going to be in New York. And I was like, New York? And you can't even make an exception for me? My baby just had an emergency operation. I'm a student and you expect me to go to New York on a student's budget? I can't even afford it. And, and then Austin was like, Izzy, you would always have choices. But you have signed an agreement that states that you're going to be completing all this module for you to pass the course. What does your word mean to you? And I started to think, what does my word mean to me? And I always have choices. Should I call it off? It's like, because I had a valid reason. Abra had an emergency operation. And now these people are not even going to consider that and make an exception, but rather expecting me to fly to New York to complete the whole course? Or could I keep my word and figure something out? But how am I going to afford it? Who's going to look after Rayhan? What does your word mean to you? And I said to Austin, everything. My word means everything to me. Put down my phone. I'm thinking, oh my God, how am I going to figure it out? How am I going to make it work? I go home. I told Riza, babe, the course I signed up with, it was a compulsory module in London, but I couldn't go. The next one in New York. Can you support me? He was like, and I asked him, can you support me in looking after Abrar? And Riza was like, yes. And I was like, okay, like, first child, first time dad, can he really handle it? What is something like, can he really handle it? Because at that point, I've never left abroad with my husband before, right? So I had to ask for help because, my work means everything to me. And then I had a look at my finances. Going from London to New York on a student's budget is expensive. It's thousands of dollars. And if you are on a student's budget, like, so that was a lot for me. So, but somehow I was able to figure it out. I was able to get creative and I was able to pay for my tickets. I was able to pay for my accommodation. I was able to have another buddy who's going to travel with me to go to New York because he missed the training in London. So now have a travel buddy. So I'm not going to be on my own. I was able to figure all those things out. and and attended the training in London, and then come back and completing the course. So here, like, and I was just, and what I've discovered in the process is the freedom that I experienced because I honored my word. I started to see how Reza is already an amazing dad. It's just all this time I haven't let him because I don't think that he can handle it. That was on me. I don't think that he can handle it. But he's way more capable than what I imagined, like 100 times more capable. And it was the moment when I stepped back that was able to gain that freedom and seeing what an amazing dad he is. Is he able to look after a 12-month-old baby who just had an emergency operation on his own? And, and the funny part is that they had amazing time together. And like I was like, what? You guys are doing this? Well, Brock has more fun than he has with mommy, doesn't he? With daddy around. So that was a shock, right? But it also gave me the freedom. And now I'm like, okay, babe, I have to go to London. I have to go. No, I need to go to Bali for a retreat. I'm going to London for a talk. I'm going to LA for a training. Look after the kids. And I was like, okay. And I now had that freedom because of that adversity that I faced. And then someone holding me accountable to my word. Someone who's brave and bold and courageous, that's holding me accountable to my word because he sees something bigger in me rather than fall back and playing, surrendering to the circumstances or playing the victim, however you want to call it. But he saw something bigger in me. And the only way that I was able to access that is by holding me accountable to my word. What does your word mean to you? So, which is, absolutely incredible. And in terms of my finances, I had a breakthrough in my finances because I was able to find creative solution to make it work. And it was something that I wasn't, unexpected. And so now even today, if I just have to figure something out when it comes to money or, having, financial breakthrough, all I have to remember is that moment and like, who am I being creative, being communication, being enrolling, being, having that vision. And it will help me to figure things out in terms of my finances, of having a breakthrough or having a solution. Or, there's always something, right? When you say you're going to do something and then you hold your promise, even though it was broken before, and you carried it through. And what I've learned as well, that in the moment of adversity, look, I was literally carrying a bra, going through the ER, going up to go upstairs to the emergency room, and I was calling my husband, I was calling my coach, I was calling Sri, because I had made a commitment to them, which, all the things that needs to happen, I've made a commitment to them. If I didn't call them, would they understand? Sure, they would. But I know they're going to be worried. I know they're going to be worried, and I know there's going to be impact to them when I'm being in silence. There's an impact, there's a cost to them when I'm being in silence. There's also an impact and cost to not just to me, but to my team in Finland if I didn't show up. Would they understand my circumstances? Absolutely. But there's still going to be an impact and a cost to me on my research, on my PhD, and also to them. So, broken promises have so much value in it that we don't even realize the potential that it can have to either make or break us. And I feel that in nowadays, like manifestation, attraction, creation, however you want to call it, one of the key components in making those things happen is, what does your word mean to you? What does your word mean to you? If you feel that your word is gold, if you feel that your word is law, if you feel that your word means everything to you, what does your word mean to you when you say something, when you've given a promise? And even when you've broken that promise, like mine, I've broken my promise, right? Even under extenuating circumstance, I've broken my promise of not going to London for the training. I've broken it, and it was broken, but being held accountable for it, I was able to make it whole again and recommitting to it. And I think the key to like broken promises is just like, what do you choose to do with it? Do you choose to leave it broken, or do you choose to make it whole? And how fast can you make it whole? If your word means everything to you, what does your word mean to you? If your word means everything to you, if your word is gold, if your word is law, okay? So thank you so much for listening. I hope that you get some value from today on the surefire ways of how broken promises can make or break your life, your business, and your relationship. So have a look at the broken promises that over the years that you've made, and just have a look and be an awareness of the impact that it can have to you, and it can have to the people around you, the impact and the cost. And just have a look as well, and just have fun in figuring out how you can recommit to your work, how you can make it whole again, how you can have fun with them and carry it through. And recently, I think at the end of last year, I had a project to create a journal that has inspirational quotes with a publishing house, but the publisher and I were not in agreement anymore, so the project didn't go through. And by then, I was already telling people, hey, can you send in your inspirational quote that we can add in? And people were sending us their quotes and so on. So, but because the partnership, wasn't in alignment anymore, so that project didn't go through. And then early this year, a lady asked me, hey, what's happening to the project? Because she was one of the people who submitted a quote. And I was like, you know what? Our partnership is not in alignment anymore, so this project isn't going to go through. And then she was like, oh, sorry to hear that. And then in the moment I started to realize the impact that it has, not only to me, but to the people that I've made promises to. Yes, I explained it to them. Yes, there were circumstances to it, that it wasn't just, what happened, but there was an impact and a cost to them and to me. And I thought about it. And then within a few days, I got back to her and I said, I'm doing the project again. This time, it will be under my umbrella so that I can take care of it and finish it through. All I need from you is a quote from you, an inspirational quote. And also for you to share it with other people, because I need 100 inspirational quotes. So I took care of the project over the winter break, took care of the project, got the quotes, put everything together, and then the journal is called Hello Success. Hello Success journal is available on Amazon and Lulu Bookstore and many other places. So, and I just felt, and when I was doing that project, I felt fun, I felt the excitement, the creativity, everything. And people were just loving it, loving, because it's not just a journal, it has inspirational quotes on it. And that's something that I wanted as well for myself. So have a look at promises, at broken promises, and the value that it can have to you and your life. It can either make or break your life, your business, your relationship. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. And remember, be courageous, be bold in sharing your voices so that you can be seen, heard, and chosen as the go to expert in your field. Take care. May peace be upon you.